So we have started the Book of Love. It's a very brief book, short one, just 3 cantos, and the last draft of the book was completed by Shibendu sometime in 1945-46. I would say this is perhaps one of the most beautiful books, very sweet, very enchanting, very lyrical of the spiritual kind. It is not just psychic, but it is psychic spiritual, and it is that lyricism which has entered into Savitri's Book of Love. It is that which makes it also different from what one would see in the Kalidasian poetry of this kind in Sanskrit, where the touch is more romantic. There is a spiritual element, but that is more romantic than psychic lyrical what we have here. In fact, it looks as though the Book of Love was written somewhere in the higher transcendent, not at all on this world. And it is the description of that coming together of the divine souls, which is kind of transcribed here on earth. It is a kind of a transcription of what is there here on this earth. Now, as I said last time, there is also the element of story in this book, and the book begins with 2 significant lines. But now the destined spot and hour were close. That itself is a complete sentence. But now, I told you last time, Savitri was going from place to place for 1 year, and finally she has arrived at the place where she is going to meet her future husband. And in that sense, it is a destined place also. Not only destined place, but also destined hour. Now, destined spot and destined hour again is a transcription of what has been decided up there. It is a transcription. It has to be kind of enacted upon the earth. And what we are sort of immediately seeing here is that enactment on the earthly plane. Destined spot and hour, they have been already fixed. But Savitri, the second line, gives the contrast. Unknowing she had neared her nameless goal. Nameless to Savitri. It has already been fixed elsewhere, destined. The goal, the time, everything is fixed already. But nameless to human Savitri. And human Savitri will come to know in the course of time that she was definitely led to this particular place at this particular moment. In fact, in the expanses of space and time, the 2 persons coming together exactly at a given moment and at a given spot, the probability is, one cannot really imagine. The cross section of a direction is practically 0. But it has to happen, and it will happen, it has happened. That is what these 2 lines convey. Now, then later on he says, of course, for though a dress of blind and devious chance is laid upon the work of all wise fate, our acts interpret an omniscient force that dwells in the compelling stuff of things, and nothing happens in the cosmic play but at its time and in its foreseen place. Once more, he is emphasizing what he has said in the first line. Nothing happens, it will happen only at a given time, at a given place, because it has been destined. Now, there is an element of chance, there is an element of all wise fate, there is the omniscient force which is driving all the events through. It is being driven, everything is being driven. See, in the cosmic play, there is a triple play. There is the destiny fixed in the transcendent, the supernatural, the transcendent. That is one. It is fixed, it is done, it has to be that way. But then there is also the cosmic working, the working of nature here in the cosmic movement. So the transcendent is there, nature on the cosmic plane is there, and the third and the most significant is the individual's soul. The individual's soul also has to join along with these three, along with the other two, the cosmic nature, cosmic play, the transcendent will or transcendent determination, and the individual's response to it, his preparedness, response to it. See, this is very significant, and one great example is again from the Mahabharata itself, the example pertaining to the Gita. Arjuna is a prepared instrument. The course of events is already fixed elsewhere. In the occult, it is determined the war has to take place. Kauravas have to be defeated. The enemy has to be destroyed. It has already been fixed. It is already determined, fixed. No question about that at all. So the cosmic determination, the play is already there. The cosmic forces are joined together on the battlefield. But the third element is the individual. Arjuna has to take the bow of victory in his hand and shoot out arrows at the enemy. Exactly at that moment of time, he succumbs. His weakness comes out, and then that becomes the occasion for Krishna to give him a sermon, a lesson, to push him up, to bring him to his senses, so to say. The divine guide is there, and it has become a kind of a responsibility for him that the instrument gets ready for the battle. If the cosmic determination is already there, the war has to take place, the battle has to be fought, the enemy has to be vanquished, then does it mean that in the absence of Arjuna, all that will remain suspended? Will not happen at all. Is he extremely pivotal in the whole action? That is important. In fact, the Mahabharata says that to fulfill destiny, to carry out the force of fate in this world, the individual has to be a participant in that whole business. He has to participate. He has to participate. That is important. So, in the case of the Gita, Arjuna had to be prepared. Otherwise, that whole purpose of Krishna coming here, taking an avatar root and all that thing would have become futile. Would have nothing would have been availed at all in the course of events. So he had to be prepared, and a kind of an occult force was put into his soul that he gets ready and picks up the weapon of victory in his hand and shoots out arrows at the enemy. That was important to see. The cosmic fate is fulfilled by the individual's action. That is important here. Individual's action. So there is a kind of a responsibility on us. It is fated, is it okay, but the individual soul is important at the same time. Now, let me give you another example, rather a sad example. As early as in 1918 or somewhere around that time, when Purani Meshivantu for the first time, he had asked him about India's freedom. And he says, but I see India is free. India is free. Later on again, in the mid-1930s, the mother says that I see India is free. It is destined for the destiny's work to be carried out that India becomes free. To be carried out. So the cosmic omniscient force has already decided up there. Now the cosmic plays here, all the individuals which are involved here, they get now entangled in the operation there. The problem here was that there was no ready soul to go by that cosmic decision, that transcendental decision. And the result was a fractured independence and all the calamitous events which took place afterwards. The soul of the nation was not ready. It is as simple as that. The soul of the nation was not ready. Then of course on the political level we have got this and that and all kind of things happened. In spite of Shivendu's intervention in 1942, he had sent his special emissary to Delhi, telling all the leaders of the country at that time, please accept Crisp's proposals. That is practically independence. But that was rejected. It only shows again that the soul of the country was not ready. And although the decision is up there, still you have all these deformations, these calamities, all those things which keep on happening here. All these three things are important. The transcendental decision, Shivendu saw that India's independence is a necessity for his spiritual work. He saw it from that angle. For his spiritual work it was necessary. In the cosmic play, all these politicians, everything has come into picture, and this is what happened. The soul of the country is not prepared, is not ready. All the three elements come here. In the case of Savitri, what we see here is that her soul is ready, and therefore the response is quick. The response is quick. The destined place is there, destined hour is there. She is not knowing yet of her goal, but there is something in her soul which responds immediately. That is the greatness, that is the beauty, that is the reality of the soul of Savitri, that she can respond to that and carry out what has been fixed elsewhere. Although she has no knowledge of it, she is ignorant of it. Unknowing, she had neared her nameless goal. There is something in her which is driving her on the way all the while, you see. For though a dress of blind and devious chance, she has been going from place to place unknowingly, this way, that way, there is a kind of a veil around which A human veil is there. Savitri has taken a human birth, so she has to accept the human veil. Is laid upon the work of all wise fate. Full wisdom is there. The omniscient force is there in it. But there is a human veil that dwells in the compelling stuff of things, and nothing happens in the cosmic play but at its time and in its fixed place and moment and all that. This is what happens, you see. So Savitri is, in that sense, is really, shall we say, spiritually, in the upper sense, matured fully to meet this hour, to come to this point, come to this place. This place is also ready, charged with the whole thing, and she is able to respond to that thing. To a space she came of soft and delicate air that seemed the sanctuary of youth and joy. Obviously, youth and joy, because young souls are going to meet here. It is going to be an act of love, of their coming together. So, freshness is there, that spontaneity is there, that openness is there, that same sanctuary of youth and joy, a highland world of free and green delight, all open spaces, trees, mountains, rivers, forests, everything there, a free and green delight, where spring and summer lay together and strove in indolent, amicable debate, in arm disputing with laughter who should rule, whether it is summer who is going to rule or it is spring who is going to rule. Basically, it means that it is a period of transition from spring to summer. The meeting takes place early in the summer. And as I said earlier also, the month of the season summer is important in the narrative of the story. In the narrative of the story, it is important. In fact, the earlier book 4, started with the description of the seasons. And the very first season which is described is the summer, Grishma, and then it rolls out through all those 6 seasons, comes to spring when the birth of Savitri takes place in spring. And again, maybe after 20 years or 16 years or 18 years, Savitri has now grown into full maidenhood. She must get married, and here comes once more this summer. It is 1 year after the marriage. Again, in summer, Satyavan must die. So, summer is connected with the death of Satyavan. Summer is connected with the death of Satyavan. And therefore, this is not just for the sake of poetry that the poet is saying the summer and the spring are coming together. It is a purposeful mention of summer, that next year, this time, exactly 1 year after the marriage, Satyavan has to die in the summer. It is the power of the sun, which the body cannot bear. It is that which is going to cause his death.